Okay. Josie, what book did we read?
We read Doctor Who and the Edge of Destruction.
Yeah.
Still, the book I like best is the Daleks.
Okay, so we're getting right into it. You didn't like this as good as the Daleks?
Well, it was 99, but still, Daleks were 100.
Okay. Okay. Did you... Let's see, where do you want to start? So...
I'll say the question first.
Oh, okay.
Which book did you like better from 1 to 10?
Are you asking me to rate the book, or are you asking me if I liked it better?
I'm trying to ask you the number.
Okay.
Like if you like it 1 or 2 or 3.
Gee, I think this is like another... I'm very bad at rating these at 1 to 10. I guess a 7. I think... What did you like better? Reading the story or watching the episode?
Watching the episode because of the characters moved.
Because okay. You got scared in this one at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you find scary about it?
I forgot.
All right.
Wait, I remember one thing I was scared that they only had 5 minutes.
At the end, when the countdown, right?
Yeah.
You were freaking out. So you got scared at the end because they were running out of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did they end up solving what was the problem the whole time?
The TARDIS.
Yeah, specifically, what was it about the TARDIS?
The TARDIS were trying to tell them.
Yeah? What was it trying to tell them?
That they're going into the edge of destruction.
Yes. But what was wrong with the TARDIS? Do you remember the actual problem?
Oh, the button was stuck.
The button was stuck. Don't you think that's kind of a silly thing?
Yeah, but that they went through all of that. That's because of a simple button.
Yeah. I really like this episode right up to the conclusion.
Right.
This episode only had the 4 crew members.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your favorite in this episode?
Barbara, because in the episode she knew the TARDIS was doing the whole thing.
She figured it out at the end?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Barbara. And because she's smarter than anybody.
Okay. I liked Susan because I thought the actress that played her was really scary this episode.
Yeah,
With the
I liked
scissors.
both of them.
Yeah. Can you tell me any differences you noticed between the book and the episode?
Well, Ian in the book told them, and Barbara in the movie, the episode, told them.
Was it Ian in the book?
Yeah.
I thought it was Barbara in the book too.
No, it was Ian.
Oh, I think you're right. It was because it was both of them, and then in the show it was just Barbara. I think.
No, I think it was just Ian in the book.
Okay.
It was just Ian in the book.
So there was a little difference in the very beginning. In the beginning of the book, when Barbara's just waking up and she's kind of out of it, where does she think she is?
At school.
Yeah, she thinks she's at school. And she's having this... Have you heard of the word hallucination?
No.
She's seeing all these things that aren't really there. And then she kind of snaps out of it. And Ian has the same thing. Whereas they don't do that in the story. But other than that, everything that's new in the book is right in the middle. Most people listening to this are going to have watched the episode, and their question is, should they also read the book? So, do you think there's anything in the book worth reading if you've already seen the episode? Because you and I are kind of doing it backwards. We're reading the books first. For me, the book starts the exact same way the episode starts.
Yeah.
And the book ends the exact same way the episode ends, right?
Yeah.
And all the new stuff is just in the middle to make the book longer. So do you remember the scene or the part in the book where Ian goes down with the doctor into the TARDIS's engine room?
Oh, yes!
And gets locked in there and there's no oxygen?
Yes!
And there's this Ian doesn't know if the doctor locked him in there or if he's just absent-minded. And then there was the scene, do you remember where Susan went?
Oh, she went to get the scissors back in the part of the book.
No. There's the scene where Barbara goes into the doctor's laboratory.
Right.
And she's going to open that door and
that was Susan.
No, that was Barbara. And
no,
then
it was Susan.
No, that was Barbara.
No, it was Susan.
Stop.
It was Susan.
Listen to me, Josie. It was Barbara, and then Susan came in after her. Because remember, Barbara was going to open the door to the doctor's secret experiments.
But then all the things happened.
Yes, exactly. And then Susan came in and told Barbara that behind that door was a lot of radiation. And so the TARDIS saved Barbara in the laboratory, what we would call a laboratory. And
so that's why Barbara knew the TARDIS was doing all of it. In
the book, yes, but that wasn't in the show. But I don't think we really needed it. I don't think you really need. I don't think you're really going to take anything more away from this story. Having seen the story before, I was hoping the book would change the ending, because why is Susan carrying the scissors around like threatening to stab people?
I have no idea. Oh.
No one does. It doesn't make any sense. So if you had to rate this story on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I would give it to 10.
You would give this story a 10?
But it would rather be 100.
Okay, stop. I really enjoy it up to the end. And then the whole thing with the spring being stuck, I don't know. I think it's another 7. I'm not very good at this. I think I'm going to give every episode a 7. It's very hard. Well, no, we'll get to some that are really bad and really good, but for this story, I just really loved how creepy Susan was, and it was really scary. And you're trying to figure out what got into the ship, and it's possessing him, and it's jumping between him, and then it just ends up being a stuck switch. It was a letdown for me.
But I mostly like the Doctor because, well, I kind of not like him, and I kind of do like him because he was regretting Susan and Barbara and Ian, and then it was all just this stuck switch, which was pretty boring.
The other thing that didn't work for me was they go through this harrowing experience, right? Where they're accusing each other of sabotaging the ship and things like that, and they don't trust each other. And at the end, it feels like it's resolving this conflict that's gone through like the last 3 stories, but it just doesn't feel like that would happen. It just doesn't feel like they actually reconciled enough for Barbara to forgive the Doctor for all the things he said. This story was your first real introduction to the TARDIS and how it worked. And we saw a lot more rooms in the TARDIS than we did before, and we spent a lot more time in the console room. Do you have any thoughts on the TARDIS?
I liked that. I kind of was surprised when it was just one meaningful button. I was surprised then.
Yes. Josie, you said you liked the Daleks better than this story.
How many more with Daleks?
There's a lot. There's so many more with Daleks. You will reach a point where you are sick of the Daleks. I promise you. Do you think you liked the Daleks better because that episode had a villain as opposed to just being the 4 of them on the TARDIS?
I have no idea. I haven't thought about that.
What did you think? Okay, let me ask you this. What did you think of this episode's title, The Edge of Destruction?
Well, they were going to the Edge of Destruction.
You seemed to really like the title, Edge of Destruction. You were saying it over and over.
Edge of Destruction, Edge of Destruction. That's for fun.
Do you like that as a title? It's I think it's one of my favorite titles.
Well, I kind of like it on the books, but I don't like when people say it. I like reading it off of the pages or stuff, but I don't like when people say it to me.
Well, we don't have a lot to say about this episode. It was only 2 parts. This episode takes place entirely within the TARDIS. Do you think you'd like to see an episode that does that, or do you want them to get out of the TARDIS every episode?
Get out of the TARDIS!
Okay. You're getting a little tired of the black and white episodes, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what we're going to do moving forward is you're going to do every other story, right? And then Elizabeth's going to come in and she's going to talk with me about the other stories, right?
Yes, we'll just go straight to the cards?
We will get to the episodes in color sooner this way. You'll only have to deal with every other episode. The next episode is about Marco Polo, which is a lost episode that we cannot watch because it doesn't exist anymore. And so if you're having trouble watching the black and white episodes, I think you're going to have a real hard time watching the reconstructions because it's just pictures. They don't move. It's just them talking. We have the audio, but we don't have the video. It's just pictures.
Fine, I guess.
And it's a long one too. I have actually never read or watched Marco Polo, so this will be my very first experience to this Doctor Who story.
Can I do it?
Josie, I think it's time for you to do your sign-off.
Josie out, Josie out, Josie out, Josie out!
Okay, thank you.